The Shop of Unfinished Hues. Amara lived in the city of Oakhaven, a place where the sky was always the color of a tired cloud, and the buildings wore shades of damp concrete. At 20, she felt as though she were a sketch, waiting for someone to pick up a pencil. She sat by her window, watching the gray rain blur the world outside, wondering when her life would finally start to feel like a story worth telling. One Tuesday, while taking a shortcut through a narrow alleyway she had never noticed before, Amara saw a spark. It wasn't a flame, but a glow, a neon sign that hummed with a soft, rhythmic pulse. It was tucked between a laundromat and a closed bakery, and it read, "The Hue Exchange." Pushing the heavy oak door open, Amara was hit by the scent of old paper and wild jasmine. The walls were lined with thousands of glass jars, each containing a swirling mist of a different color. Some were as bright as a summer noon, others as deep as the bottom of the ocean. Behind a counter made of driftwood sat an old man named Umber. He didn't look up from the ledger he was writing in, but he gestured for her to come closer. "You look like someone who is missing their primary palette," he said, his voice sounding like dry leaves skittering across a pavement. Umber reached behind him and pulled down a jar filled with a swirling electric violet. "This," he whispered, "is the courage to say no. It's a heavy color but very necessary for a foundation." He set it on the counter, and the light from the jar turned the wood into a sea of purple. Amara reached out, her fingers hovering just inches from a jar that shimmered with a golden, liquid light. "And this one?" she asked. Umber smiled, a web of wrinkles forming around his eyes. "That is the joy of an aimless Sunday. It's a soft hue, but people often forget how much they need it." "I don't know which one to pick," Amara admitted, her voice trembling. "I feel like I'm made of nothing but gray. I don't have enough of myself to even choose a color." Umber closed his ledger and looked at her kindly, the violet and gold jars casting long shadows between them. Umber reached into a drawer and pulled out a long, slender object wrapped in silk. He unwrapped it to reveal a paintbrush with a handle made of clear glass. "The secret, Amara, is that these jars don't belong to me. They are just samples of what people have already created. You don't buy a color, you find the tool to make your own." Amara took the brush. As her fingers closed around the glass handle, a faint swirl of soft rose pink began to bloom at the tip of the bristles. She realized then that the gray wasn't a void, it was a canvas. She didn't need to wait for her life to happen. She was the one holding the brush. When Amara stepped back out into Oakhaven, the rain was still falling, but it no longer looked gray. Each drop caught the light of the street lamps, turning the world into a mosaic of silver and light. She walked home, the glass brush tucked safely in her pocket, ready to paint the first morning of the rest of her life.